Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Software. Today I'm going to be unboxing this Specna Flex SA-FX01 AR-9 SMG. Hey guys, and welcome back. If you do like this content today, please do consider liking, commenting and subscribing. Those interactions help me get seen by the YouTube algorithms and help the channel grow. If you want to come along and say hello on my socials, use the Linktree link down below. That will take you to all my socials, including my Discord. Stop by and say hello. And if you want to support the channel a little bit more, join button down below will take you to channel memberships. 99p a month, totally optional, really appreciated. Custom content, custom giveaways, and a bit more direct sort of interaction with me, and a bit of a steering force for the channel as well. So massive shout out to my good friend Lewis, who has let me borrow his brand new piece of kit to unbox to see what's going on and what's going off with these. So this is the Specna SA-FX01 Flex AR-9 SMG. Just kind of rolls off the tongue there, doesn't it? So this is their new sort of budget line of SMGs based on an AR style platform. Now there will be a later video of this comparing this one to the Zion Arms version and the Well version as well that we've had on the channel before. Once all the unboxings are out there of those three separate ones, the Well we've already done. But today we're just going to unbox this one and see. So before we sort of get into it, just then, the main things I could see online that it boasts about it are it's high density polymer. Okay, that's lovely. So all plastic construction, basically nice, will make it nice and light, and a 6.03 tight bore barrel. Now that's great and that's awesome, but what's that going to mean? So we'll have a quick look at the box then and get started. So fairly nice box, an AR on the back, showing you how to do the quick spring change. Let's spin it around because box opens the other way around. So all manner of bits and pieces in here. So I've got an online user manual, nice. Downgraded airsoft replica, it does not exceed 350, but no word on what it actually is, so I'll have a look at that. Sticker sheet, full offer, so catalogue, we've got a unjamming stroke cleaning rod, the silica gel, love a bag of silica gel, our high cap S-mag for this, and we have the piece, the resistance, the flex itself. Now, that's actually a nice weight. It's not obscenely light, it's not obscenely heavy, it's just a nice weight, and most of the weight feels like it's centered around here, but we'll comment on that in a second. I'll just get rid of the box. So it is possibly a touch longer than I was expecting it to be, obviously with the outer barrel extension, but it's quite a nice, it looks better in person than it does online, I'll be honest. Looking at it online I was like, not sure about this, but now I've got it in front of me, it actually is quite a nice looking piece. So we'll have a look at the front end. So at the front, I can confirm that is a metal muzzle brake there. So it is a AR style muzzle brake. You've then got a metal outer barrel as well, leading on to a polymer handguard held on by 3 screws there, which we'll possibly have a quick look at in the disassembly video. So we've got 2 quick mount points, quick detach points there, and therefore I'm guessing sling points probably the best thing. And then we've got the sort of 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and maybe 6 o'clock M-lock mounting points there, where we can get a variety of accessories in, as well as a long rail all the way across the top for any optics that we want to mount on there. So our mounting options are pretty handy, and that's nice that it is M-lock. Means we've got a bit of versatility in what we can do. Obviously a lot of these cutouts have to reduce weight, particularly in the airsoft versions, to keep it lighter. In terms of movement, there is a little bit of movement there. That is entirely because this is free flow, it's not supported at the front. I would expect a little bit of movement. If it was wobbly and rattly, that'd be a bigger issue, but it's not, it's absolutely fine. We've then got our upper receiver, quite nice angles and cuts to it. There's almost, it's not like, it is matte, but there's almost like a, I can't describe the texture to it, almost like a glittery texture, but it's not glittery, that sounds absurd. There's quite a nice texture to the actual polymer that it's made out of, and it's quite a nice sort of cut. I like the shapings that they've got on there, quite like the ridging on the front of the magwell. I know it's not best practice, particularly in real steel, but I like getting my hand around there, and that is typically where I hold my kit when I'm playing. We've got Magwell then, that's got one mag release, which is at the bottom here, which I have got, when we come to doing it, I've got obviously the S mag included, I've got a Zion Arms mid-cap as well to try, and the Well mags as well to try, and I've got a G&G mag, ARP9 mag to try in it as well. So we'll try all of those to see what happens with it. So we've got our upper and lower then, so we've got a typical AR style trigger and pistol grip and selector group as well. In terms of the pistol grip, they're not horrific corners, they're definitely comfortable than a traditional one. I quite like the angry cut of the trigger guard here, but the pistol grip's nice with the texturing on there, is going to be really nice with gloves to keep hold of that. In terms of the bolt release, let's have a look. Nice, that's a nice little touch considering these are a budget line. You know, that's a nice little touch that they've thrown in there, and we press the bolt release and it released it forward. Not quite the nice thing I was hoping for, but you know, what can we complain about really? So on the right hand side then, again, I don't think that moves at all. No, just wondered if there was any pass through to show that connected, but there's our ejection port, which does look open. We've got a rotary style hop and it is rolled down to add hop on there. Just press that again. We've got our front and rear sights, which I should be able to get down, flick that aperture open. There is a little aperture that you can flick down. Is it the back one? That's the back one, to make it a little bit more open. So that's the lines up, and they just flick up. You put that back up and down as you need. So that's just got a hex head bolt in there, and that will lift off. And the back one has got the same bolt again, and that will just come off if you don't remove it. We've then got our stock. I like the rubberized pads on here for a little bit of friction against your face, and it is a 6-position stock. Now that is a polymer stock tube as well, so obviously just keep that in mind when you're throwing this about. The plate here is actually metal though, and I do like the raised profile of the selector switch there. That it's not mega easy to switch, but there is a bit of a lightness to it. So you know, if you do catch it on something, expect that it might just flick firing modes there. And then our battery compartment, then when we pull down on this tab here, just releases that off there. You can see there we've got our 6-position stock, and we've got a mini Tamiya. I was hoping for Dean's. I just prefer Dean's. That's a personal preference, but you know, it's not impossible to work with. So far I am pretty impressed with that. I do like the style of the mag. You know, for a lot of beginner players, the fact that it's a high cap in there is probably a good place to start with them. You know, a lot of people wouldn't realise about mags and that kind of thing. So to open this mag up, just out of interest, keep your mag upright when you're filling this type of mag, high cap. Do not put the BBs in there first. It's a high cap. You open the hatch, you pour your BBs in, keeping it upright, and you use the wheel on the bottom, and it is rolled forward. So the wheel is rolling forward, and that will wind BBs up there, and then it will compress the spring. You need to keep winding until you get a click out of the mag, quite an authoritative click. So I'll test that, as well as the G&G high cap that I've got, the Well SMG mags as well that I've got, and I've got a Zion Arms mag as well that we'll give it a try, and we'll see how that comes out. So see you in a second. So max 299, minimum 294.4, average 297. It's pretty damn good going. Okay, so I am back then from the shooting test. So, first of all, range. I was impressed with the range, easily 50 plus meters out of this thing. It did seem to take an awful lot of adjustment to get it to lift those 0.25s that I'm using as tracer rounds. So just keep that in mind that I don't know how much further it will go in terms of weights, but it was hopping 2.5s and there was still space left in there. So possibly heavier BBs will be fine in there. So I was really happy with that. It is quite smooth sounding. I don't know whether that's the polymer body that's sort of limiting any noise coming out, or if it is actually just quite nicely built, but it sounded quite smooth ticking over. The microphone on my phone often doesn't do them justice. In terms of rate of fire then, 11.9, basically 12 rounds a second on a 7.4, which is entirely respectable, and we got about 19.5 rounds a second on 11.1, again entirely respectable sort of figures. You know, that they are pretty much what I would hope for and expect out of any sort of AEG platform, really, from standard. So I was really happy with the rate of fire. In terms of mags then, I am happy to report it worked perfectly with its own high cap, because of course it did. It worked perfectly with the mid caps as well, which I was really happy with. It fed perfectly with the Zion Arms mid cap as well, which I was perfectly happy with. And the real surprise, which I wasn't expecting, and then later figured out that I should have expected it, is that the G&G AR-9 mag fed perfectly as well. Now the reason for that is because the mag latch on these mags and the mag catch on this relies on this thing on the back, whereas the well requires the little side notch there to click into place. So that is irrelevant on these mags, and that happily just held them in place with these. So I can confirm that the Specna mags and the AR-9 mags and the Zion Arm mags and the well mags all fit and fed in this absolutely beautifully across the different batteries and everything like that. So you have got a variety of brand options for your magazines to put in there, and I was really, really happy with that. It is actually quite impressing me, to be honest. It is better than I was expecting it to be, and it felt lovely to shoot it. Again, like I said, the noise was quite a nice sound to it. It sounded quite smooth ticking over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my gloves. I'm going to do the gloved operation now. I have actually managed to find my brown gloves again, and for continuity, the ENC video that I did possibly some weeks ago, I had my Oakley ones on because I couldn't find them. I have found them now. And bizarrely, I did a man look and they were exactly where they should have been. I just didn't look properly. So first thing I'm going to say then is let's have a look. In general use, I can definitely operate the charging handle. The hop, I've got the usual thing where I know I'm adjusting it, but I haven't got that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not dexterity, the sort of, I haven't got the feel, the awareness, I suppose. There is a word, it'll come to me. I haven't got the awareness of how far I'm adjusting it. So I can do it and it's accessible, but it's not going to be ultra precise like doing it without a glove on. In terms of the mag goes in, mag comes out. I am happy with that, absolutely no problem. In terms of refilling it, I can easily access that and I can wind it. I have got absolutely no issues with that. Same with dropping the mag in and out. Really nice and easy going. We've got the selector I can do easily. Obviously it's based on an AR platform. These are going to be all relatively easy to use. In terms of a battery change, I can obviously access that battery. Again, I would have liked to Dean's, but can't win everything. And putting the stock on and off, arguably it's possibly even easier and nicer on my fingers to do it with the gloves on than it is to do without. Now, obviously the last sort of little bit is a little bit of wiggle in the stock, which is not unusual, and you potentially could just put a little layer of duct tape on there just to secure it up a little bit and stop, take up some of that space. It is solidly built, and if I shake it, there's no, I've held the bolt release down, I'm holding the stock. There is nothing. In terms of movement, there is nothing other than the barrel, really. It is solidly built. A fantastic piece of kit. Particularly impressed me the variety of mags that we can get in there and things like that. Has impressed me no end. So the last thing I want to cover then, before we're sort of finishing up, is I want to check the battery compartment space for you, just so you're aware. So I'll just go and grab a selection of batteries and we'll have a look at that. So I've got a variety of batteries just to demonstrate. What I've done then is I've got the two batteries that I use for the rate of fire test. So that is the 7.4 volt battery that I use for the rate of fire test. That's the 11.1 volt battery that I use. So just for standard across all videos. So we'll just open that up, take that off, and we are entirely reliant on this space here. Now, the sort of retaining screw is sort of around here. You can sort of see there's a change in the plastic a little bit, indicating roughly where it is. Now, the 11.1 is never going in there, ever. So we're going to discount that. The 7.4 volt will actually fit in there, mostly. And if I were to run this, obviously I'd need a mini Tamiya type. I'd not be able to collapse the stock. I'd be able to get it sort of fairly close down, but I could run that in there fairly happily, I suppose. Not ideal, but it's an option. I've then got a 1200 long 7.4. That doesn't even close fit. That's an even worse fit. Again, 1200 11.1, similar style, not fitting at all. I've then got a Giant Power 7.4 volts 15C 1000 milliamps. Now that just sits inside. I possibly can't fully collapse the stock. I wouldn't have thought at that. Maybe I can. Maybe there is just enough room in there. Let's have a look. If I feed that down there, I feed that down there as well. Not quite enough room. It's going to be a little bit of a tight squeeze in there. Now, if I pull that on. Oh, I can actually fully collapse that stock with that battery in there, which is quite nice actually. So I can fully collapse the battery. That wire just showing a little bit of sign being crumpled up a little bit, but that is a potential option for going in there. And then let's have a look. The last option I've got then is an 11.1 again, which is by comparison pretty much the same, just a touch thicker. So I'm just going to drop that in there. Now that again sits exactly the same. I can get that wiring down there, or can I? You're going to have to be quite selective of the batteries that you're using. Deans typically have a smaller profile than the Mini Tamiya, so I can get one or the other down there, but seemingly not both. To be fair, if you can keep it contained properly, you possibly could just get it down in there anyway. I would expect that a bit of faffing about and I could probably get it to sit inside there like that. There is a bit of empty space there that wiring could sit. Typically I would run that stock extended out a little bit. So batteries are something to think about and consider as part of this. Obviously just to sort of limit a battery space, which it's an SMG, so you know it's something to think about, that there isn't going to be an awful lot in there. But in general, I'm quite impressed with it. It's quite solidly built. I'm excited to do the disassembly. You know, I've enjoyed this. Thank you again to Lewis. I will leave the usual pictures at the end. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.